Alrighty, it's 9:15. Let's start. Are you guys able to hear me okay? Okay, good. My name is Brooke Martinez. I teach at Granite Connection High School, which is the alternative high school for Granite School District. And I'm Next Gen Personal Finance's Utah rep. How many of you guys have used Next Gen Personal Finance in Classroom? Most? Okay. So some of you guys who have used it, maybe you can chime in on things that you really like to use. And then those who have never used it, you just found your personal bestie. This is amazing. It's all free curriculum. It's fantastic. So today we're just going to go over Next Gen Personal Finance's top 5 financial resources for the classroom. But quick, a little introduction to NGPF. How many states do you think currently guarantee a standalone personal finance course for all of high school students before graduation? Go ahead and put your fingers up with the answer that you think it is. Okay, so those of you who have 3 fingers up, I'm glad you guys didn't just put 1 finger up for me, but 25 states. Does anybody know which state was the first state? What one?
Utah.
Let's go. Utah. We were first. And it was because in 2008, we were number 1 for bankruptcy in the nation. And so our government finally did something and they decided we're going to have a standalone personal finance for graduation. And so when I started teaching 16 years ago, there was 5 states that required it. And now we're all the way to 25, which is amazing. So it's growing. We're halfway there, but that's getting there. So NGPF, go ahead.
Have we improved with bankruptcy in Utah since we've done it?
Yeah, the last time I checked, I think we're like 9 or 10.
So a little bit.
So better than 1. We're not all the way there. We have a lot of keeping up with the Joneses. I saw a lot of that going on around when I'm on my drive here. Yes?
Yeah, there was a KSL article just a couple of weeks ago, not last in the nation when Utahns are ready to retire.
Really? Interesting. Ugh. Yeah, so we still got a ways to go. Because I don't know if you guys know, like, if this is like your classes. In my classes, yes, we have the class that's required, and it's fun. It's my favorite class to teach. However, not everybody is ready to receive that information, so some people are still going to have to learn the hard way, unfortunately. NGPF's mission, they have a mission called Mission 2030. Basically, by 2030, all students will be required to take a 1-semester personal finance course before they graduate high school. So that is the goal. Just another quick intro. We've got curriculum, courses for high school and middle school. Any middle school teachers in here? So they have curriculum for both. There's a semester course. In fact, I don't know if anybody's used, I have a course, it's kind of older now, but I used all Next Gen Personal Finance's stuff on Canvas Commons. I uploaded that several years ago. It's a little outdated now, but we are working this summer to create a new version with all the new student activity packets. So that should be out in July. Just through Next Gen Personal Finance. So right now we're just gonna it's just gonna be very simple, just all the student activity packets. If you don't know what that means, it's basically all the activities. It'll show links to videos and articles, and then students can answer questions. So that should be look for that pretty soon. They also have Teacher PD that's free, which is fantastic. 3 to 5 live events per week. Anybody attended to a live PD? Can you vouch for me that it's worthwhile, worth your time. And then they also have on-demand, so if you can't match that with your schedule, you can join for an on-demand class and go through that. Anybody done the on-demand before? That one's pretty good if you can't meet that time. They also have an academy, so if you go through so many hours of PD, then you can win different prizes as well. Okay. For a teacher account, how many have you never signed up for NGPF? Okay, so what you would do is you just Google ngpf.org, and then you can just sign up for a free teacher account. That gives you access to everything for free. If you have ever had a problem finding answer keys, the number 1 thing is you probably hadn't logged into your account, so just make sure you're logged in there. And then now you can do favorites, so you can save things for later. I don't know if anybody's done that before, but that's a nice new feature. Okay, so let's look at some different resources. So the things I'm going to go over today is the question of the day. Anybody use question of the day before? Nice little bell ringer. The arcade, that's one of my students' favorite. Anybody use arcade? Favorite in the pink. What's your kid's favorite arcade game?
Oh gosh. I think it depends which ones I show them. They love them all.
All of them. Mine is Stacks. The investing game Stacks. That's my kid's personal favorite. My principals, both my principals, one of my principals does a little day trading on the side. He's one of the 80% that should not be doing that. But they come in and they'll play with us with the class. It's awesome. Then you've got FinCap Friday. That's part of the team. Her name is Yaneli, and she creates these Kahoots with a video attached to them. And a lot of the kids really like those as well. I usually show them, I mean, you can just do it on Fridays. A new one will release every Friday, but I tend to show them every day with the different topics. They have the activities by unit, so there's different units that you can look through. And then, of course, if you want to sign up for the blog's really nice because every day they'll send you an email with updated curriculum, new activities that you can try out in your class. Okay, so first question of the day. How many of the top 10 most commonly used passwords can you guess? Can you guys tell me, what do you think are the top 10? Shout out what you think common passwords are. Password 1, password 2.
Password with a little.
Oh, yes, with the little @ symbol. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What was yours? Oh, that's a good one. I had one girl one time, she had these really, all my kids have really long nails and really long lashes. She had really long nails and she just went, and I was like, what did you just do? And she's like, that's my password. I'm like, what? That one was funny. That one on TikTok. Okay, these are some of the top ones. So you guys got some of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is number 1. Password is number 2. Admin, 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, so that is an example of a question of the day. And it ranges on various topics. It's a great way to kind of hook them at the beginning of the class period. Then it's got some follow-up questions that you can use with your class as well. So talking about like what are some risks associated with using common passwords like the ones shown in this list, and you can kind of facilitate a discussion from that point. Okay, those are found. There's always a little magnifying glass that you can search for question of the day, but if you click on curriculum and then you go to resources, it's right there for question of the day, and it's categorized by different topics as well. So really easy to find. And then again, they release a new one Monday through Thursday on the blog. So if you haven't signed up for the blog, I would definitely recommend signing up for that. I'll show you how in a second. But that shows you every single day a new question of the day. Okay, next one, my favorite, the NGPF Arcade. Lots of free online games. They cover a lot of different units. Like I said, the investing one is probably my kid's favorite. They have them on budgeting. They have them on cryptocurrency. If you're going to be here tomorrow, I'm going to present on the cryptocurrency one. Let's see what else. They have credit, managing credit. Credit Clash. Yeah, the credit score. Yeah, the Shady Sam one is great. You're pretending to be an awful loan officer and you're trying to scam people out of as much money as possible. But they're very engaging, and they come with an activity worksheet that you can do as well. I just play the games with them, and then if they want, we do proficiency-based grading at my school, and so if they want to get like a level 3 or 4, then they can fill out the actual worksheet that gives them questions based on the game. So again, on that one, ngpf.org, there's a little blue icon with a video game controller, and you can click on arcade, and that's where you can find all the different games. Okay, let's take a few minutes. Do you guys all have laptops, or if you guys do, why don't you go ahead and take 5 minutes and just explore the arcade. And the person who hadn't signed up, I can come over there and help you sign up if you'd like. So go ahead and take 5 minutes, just explore the arcade. And we'll start back up at 9:30. Okay, anybody find a good one? I know that wasn't too much time to kind of play, but hopefully you can play maybe in some of your other sessions. My students, like I said, they like the Stacks one for investing. That's their favorite. The Credit Clash for credit scores. Payback is a really good one for college, paying for college. Money Magic for budgeting, Bummer for insurance, Spent for like living paycheck to paycheck, Cat Insanity for credit management, unless you really love cats. Spoiler alert, some of them die. So that's a little tragic. Shady Sam, the Loan Shark, and then the Uber game is kind of fun in a career unit to see if they would like to be an Uber driver and how they kind of manage their money that way. Okay, next resource is FinCap Friday. So let's go through one. This one is called Payment Apps and Protection Gaps. So the first thing is there's a Kahoot that goes along with it. Bless you. So go ahead and go to kahoot.it. You can do it either on your phone or on your laptop. So kahoot.it. And you can do this, I do it before I show the video. You could show the video and then do this after as like a formative or formative assessment. I just kind of do it as a hook at the beginning. I usually start with this and then I'll do like a question of the day right after that before getting into the lesson. Anybody done this particular FinCap Friday? Good, so nobody knows the answers yet. Excellent. Okay, am I waiting for anybody that still wants to play? Yes, okay. So again, kahoot.it, enter the code. Okay, am I waiting on anybody else? There you go. Here we go. So it's always 5 questions. And this one again is Payment Apps and Protection Gaps. True or false? Payment apps largely do not pay users any interest even though they collect interest on deposits. That is true. SR, you're in the lead. Which banks had over $200 billion in assets and failed in early 2023? Cash App and Venmo, Signature and First Republic, FDIC and NCUA, CFPB and FDIC. That would be a shame if it was the yellow one. Can you imagine? All right, Signature and First Republic. SR knows their stuff. What kind of insurance does a non-bank payment app usually offer to protect deposited funds? FDIC insurance, pass-through insurance, credit union insurance, or direct deposit insurance? Pass-through insurance. Ooh, Hello has a streak, and JAF just stole the lead. Number 4, which feature of Cash App allows automatic transfer of payments into your bank account? Auto cash out, balance freeze, instant payment, or direct deposit? Auto cash out. All right. Last one. What is true about holding your money in non-bank payment apps? It's highly recommended for better interest rates. It's safe due to advance. It poses risk without proper protection, or it guarantees FDIC coverage. It poses risks without proper protection. Who's JAF? Nice job. Good work. Okay, so you start with something like that. Again, it's really nice to, it's a good starter, as well as sometimes if it's a new one, maybe I don't even know the information, so it helps me to kind of learn some new financial information as well. Okay, and then right after that, they always have a quick video that goes along.
Yanelli, also known as Miss Be Helpful, with another FinCap Friday brought to you by NGPF. Millions of Americans use apps like Venmo and Cash App to pay their friends and family or to shop online, but they might not know that any money they leave sitting in these apps is not fully protected by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or the FDIC. Now, you probably think if it looks like a bank and it acts like a bank, then it probably is a bank. But that's not the case when it comes to peer-to-peer payment apps like Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, and Zelle. In a mid-2023 consumer advisory from the CFPB, or the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a warning to users of these apps said to be careful how you use them because they'll try really, really hard to make you think that they're a bank. They will offer you a debit card, direct deposit, and allow you to pay your bills right from the app. But they are not banks. These are non-bank payment apps. They transfer payments really well, with an estimated $893 billion of transactions in 2022. But the thing is, these companies will take your cash deposits and go create an account at a bank where they can collect interest on your money. And they pass none of that interest on to you, the customer. So you might be thinking, what's the big deal with this FDIC insurance stuff? But if you think back to March of 2023, when there were some major bank failures in the US, Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and First Republic Bank, they each had $200 billion or more in assets, and yet every person or company that had an account at these banks was given all their money back because they were protected by the FDIC. If your FDIC insured bank fails, then the government will step in and make sure that you get your money. This is up to $250,000 per person per bank account. Credit unions also have a similar protection for their accounts through the NCUA, which stands for National Credit Union Administration. Non-bank payment apps like Venmo and Cash App cannot offer you this same protection. So what they do instead is partner with an FDIC-insured bank and then offer you pass-through insurance. Now that might sound good, but it only protects you against the failure of the bank or credit union that is a member of the FDIC. It does not protect your money against the failure of the non-bank company itself. So that means if Cash App or Venmo were to go out of business completely, you would probably never see any of your money that was sitting in these apps again. And if you do, it would probably only be after a long time when they're completely done with all the court proceedings. So how can you make sure that if you have your money in these apps like Cash App or Venmo, that you can protect your money? Well, the easiest thing to do is to move your money into an FDIC-insured bank account immediately when your transaction is done. Cash App actually allows you to click on the home button and scroll all the way down to toggle on Auto Cash Out. This will automatically move your money into your bank account every single time you get money through the app. And it'll make sure that your Cash App balance always stays at zero, so that way 0 of your dollars will be at risk. Finally, you should use FDIC or NCUA insured accounts, and you should look for free banking services. You can get a debit card from your bank or credit union, so that way you can use that to make purchases on a day-to-day basis. Most importantly, if you have a job, it's very easy to set up direct deposit into an FDIC or NCUA insured bank account. It's okay to use these payment apps to make payments to your family or to your friends, especially if you need to make a transaction in a pinch. But don't hold your money in a place where it doesn't have any real protection. If you choose to keep letting your cash sit in these apps, it means that you're okay with the risk of losing it all.
There we go. So that is basically what they look like.
I'm Yanelli.
And sometimes she gets a little excited and wants to go again. So basically, again, you can do the Kahoot first, video next, video first, Kahoot as a check for understanding. Anybody use Nearpod in here? You can embed the video and then just put the questions as little markers throughout. If you've got an extra 10 minutes or like the last week of school when they're crazy or right before any break, it's a good way to just kind of keep them entertained. Okay, and then they have a discussion prompt at the end, so you can, again, have a little discussion. I tend not to do this just because I don't have a lot of time. There's so much stuff to go through and so little time, but you can choose to do a discussion prompt afterwards. They provide that for you. Then they also have an extend your learning. So they have different questions of the day, different projects, different activities that go with each one. So you could actually surround your lesson or create your own lesson based on the extend your learning platform. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, so FinCap Friday, same place, curriculum, under resources, FinCap Friday. Like I said, every Friday a new one's released on the blog so that you can sign up and see new ones. Or just like I do, click on FinCap Friday, look at the different ones based on whatever topic you're teaching that week, and then you can find ones that fit. Okay, next is activities by unit. So there's tons and tons of different activities and projects, interactives. So we're gonna do one called Play. It costs how much? So it says you might wanna save for an apartment or a car, apartment, a video game, something else, but how much will it cost? This gives kids, I don't know about you guys, my kids are a little delulu about like how much things cost. Like when I tell them how much their apartment is gonna cost, they are shooketh. Like they don't understand how expensive it actually is. So here we go. This one is in the banking and saving unit. Usually it takes about 15 minutes. And this time we're gonna just do like an abbreviated version for today. So the objective of the activity is for students to familiarize themselves with common costs and consider the purpose of saving. Competing in teams, students guess how much a given expense is, like a wedding, a new phone, and then the closest guess wins. Okay, then it gives you directions. So on each slide, you're gonna see an image and a description of something that you might save money for. And then you're just going to go ahead and guess how much it costs. A little bit of like Price is Right action going on. The closest guess that doesn't exceed the answer wins. And then again, some of the items are priced based on what the average cost is over the United States. So in Utah, it might be a little bit cheaper depending on the item. Okay, first thing, PS5 console, brand new gaming system. I've got several friends that have this. Does anybody know the exact cost? How many of you guys have this, the PS5? How much is it?
$500.
Okay, anybody else? 6 or 7?
Depends on what features you want.
True, does depend on the features.
You get it probably for cheap, about 400, upwards of 7.
Depends on if you go on Facebook Marketplace,
Also true.
right? Okay, $500, $499.99. Technically, we're over by a penny. Price is Right rules, you lose. Just kidding. Okay, a wedding. Average cost of an American wedding. 10,000. You said how much?
At first I said 25,000, but then I'm thinking more than 40,000.
40,000. Okay. Anything else? Utah, I feel like the weddings are a little lower. I don't think people spend as much here, but my friends out of state, California, Florida, they tend to go all out on their. Depends on if you have an open bar. Depends on a lot of things, right? Any guesses? Any other guesses? 20?
I said
30? Average cost, 30,000. That's wild. I went to Vegas and got married by Elvis, and it was the best decision of my life and cost me under $1,000. So that's what I would recommend. The down payment on a used car. So on average, Americans pay 11.9% of a car's total value as a down payment. How much would that cost for the average used car? Now, of course, this depends on make, model, mileage. 7,000. Depends on the economy too, right? Like my used Nissan Altima, like last year, they were begging me to sell it back for the same price I got it like 10 years ago because they just didn't have used cars, which is crazy. Any other guesses? Average car used? 2,500. 3,574. Applying for U.S. citizenship. Over the last 10 years, 8 million people have become U.S. citizens through naturalization. How much did the application fees cost? How much? 150? 250? 1,000?
And then if you have a lawyer, that's.
And the lawyer costs on top of that? $725 for the application fees. A concert ticket, of course, this depends on who it is. How much was Swifty's concert? Like $1,000? 400? I went and saw Usher, and that was $500 because of Ticketmaster charging a $100 fee, which is crazy. 111. Depends. If you get the, what's that pass called at USANA? You get a, what is it, lawn pass for a couple $100. They don't really have a lot of good ones this summer. Getting an apartment, you're ready to move out. Experts recommend you have 3 months of rent saved up first. When I tell my students that, they can't even imagine. They're like, oh no, I just have to save up $1,000 for an apartment. No, you have to save up a lot more than that, right? So on average, how much does 3 months of rent cost in the US? $4,500? $6,000? We are up there with that. Last time I checked, we're like number 3 under California and Hawaii, which is crazy. About $5,000, yeah. College tuition, 1 year at a public in-state college. So you're going to Utah State, go Aggies. You've graduated from high school and are off to college. Luckily, in-state public schools are more affordable than private schools. What's the average cost? So 1 year. How much? 6,000? Anyone else?
In America or Utah?
Yeah.
15,000.
15,000? Yeah, it depends on the state, right? 10,000. So again, this is US average. And you could adapt this because all the resources are fungible. You can make them however you want. So if you wanted to take this, because it'll be in like a Google slideshow, you could take it and say Utah State or in-state or private in Utah. You can definitely adapt it. A week-long vacation within the US. How much does the average American spend on a 4-day domestic vacation? 1,200? I don't know about this. I just go on cruises. Is anybody else a cruise person? I just discovered them last spring break, and I've already gone on 5. Like, I can't get I really, love cruises so much. Nice. I love it. It's so fun. 4-day? Anybody? It could be cheap. It depends, right? $581. Definitely cheaper than a cruise, but I don't know. Depends, right? For sure. Having a baby, not for me. This is why I do cruises, because I don't want to have babies. Cruises are way better. The drink package, are you kidding me? Or a baby? No. So having a baby, a lot of my students have children at the alternative high school, so they know how much it is. But their parents obviously help out in most situations. But anybody had a baby recently? Know how much this costs? Depends on your insurance.
Just the cost, the medical cost of the birth.
This is just the cost of giving birth at the hospital with insurance.
We say $3,000.
3,000? Okay. 1,500? 20? I said 4,500. Now again, it depends on your insurance, right? Absolutely. Okay, down payment for a house. When you buy a home, you pay part of the price up front as a down payment. For context, the median down payment is about 13% of the total price in the US. Did you hear that they're doing what they used to do in 2006, 2007, 2008, where they're giving people 0% down again? That's happening again, so we'll see what happens. But what's the median down payment price? 13%, would you say? Again, this depends, right? But 30,000, 30, 50, 26,000. Utah, I think, is higher than this, I would say. All right, 12-day international vacation. So how much does the average American spend on a 12-day international vacation? 15,000? Good guess. Any other guesses? That's crazy to me. I would think it would be more like, I would say, right. To me, it's like 5. I mean, maybe if they're sleeping in like hostels and backpacking, that's crazy to me. Yeah, it does vary for sure. So you could, and this, I'm trying to remember when they created this. Yeah. Yeah, probably, yeah. Mexico for sure. Or Canada. Right. Okay, new smartphone. 1,500, 1,100, 1,200. Again, depends on if you're going Facebook Marketplace. 790, basic maybe. Okay, and then they have reflection questions at the end. So you could play the game with the students and then give them a little bit of independent time to answer questions or partner them up. But it's got all those different things. You can also modify it. You could do, does anybody do whiteboards in their classroom? Have them hold them up. You could do that. You could make it a move activity. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing another NGPF presentation on move it activities. Those are really fun to kind of get them out of their seat because they're on computers all day long. But you could make this more of a move it thing as well. Like you could put like a more sign on one side of the room, a less, and then you could say, is it more or less than this amount? And they kind of move around, right? Okay, on these ones, if you go to the curriculum and go to units, you can see all the different activities by unit. So we've got banking, types of credit, managing credit, paying for college, budgeting, investing, behavioral economics, career, taxes, insurance, consumer skills, and they have different mini units like buying a house, buying your first car, that kind of stuff. Okay, again, they want me to remind you all courses are always free. All the curriculum's always going to be free. The founder made a lot of money from a business, and so he made an endowment, so everything will always be free for everybody. Okay, the last one I want to show you is the blog. So on this one, if you go to Teacher PD and Community, under Community, that's where you can find the blog. If you want to do that at some point today, I really find it useful because then every day that they update the blog, you'll get an email just showing you what are the new activities, new question of the day, new FinCap Friday, that sort of thing. Let's see what else. Oh, they also do podcasts. That's not on here. But Yaneli, who does the FinCap Friday, does podcasts as well, which are great. And then that's where you find all your answer keys and assessments. Make sure that you're signed in for your account, and that's how you can see all of your answer keys. So they look like this, where you're on, say, your activity, and then you can see the lesson, and then it'll save you answer key. So that you can see that as well. Okay, I think we've already touched on those. You can also follow them for more things. Anybody have FinLit Fanatics? Anybody follow that on Facebook? I think that one's a really good, I follow all of them, but I would say FinLit Fanatics I use the most because teachers are constantly adding different things for collaboration or just things that they've modified. Any questions? Okay, well, you're gonna have a little bit of time to be able to kind of play around, and I'll walk around through. NGPF just wants you to do a quick end of survey or end of session survey if you wouldn't mind. This is actually the first one I've done for them, so hopefully I did them a little bit of justice. But if you wouldn't mind taking a picture of that or going to your QR code and then taking that survey, and then you've got plenty of time to kind of walk around and look at some of those resources on the website, and then I'll walk around and answer questions.